Hi guys, I'm Arm. The anime recap I want to share with you today is my dress-up darling. In an empty classroom, a girl named Marin blushes badly and takes off her clothes in front of her male classmate. The male classmate looks nervous, standing there and does not dare to move. What's about to happen between them next? Come and watch it with me. The story begins on a sunny school day. Our male protagonist, Wakana, goes to bed late as usual because of the researches for the dolls. His grandfather thinks about Wakana's obsession with dolls and worries that he won't make friends in school. Wakana doesn't want to worry her grandfather and lies that he has always had friends. In fact, Wakana never dared to tell anyone about his love for dolls. This particular hobby creates a huge gap between him and his peers, and he cannot find a common topic at all. Just when Wakana is feeling lonely about this, he comes into contact with his classmate Marin. While playing around with her friends, Marin accidentally falls on Wakana's table. Out of courtesy, Marin apologizes to Wakana. It is the first time Wakana has spoken to Marin, and even a simple word of sorry makes him feel a hint of joy. Marin is very popular in school. She is lively and cheerful, and has many friends. Although they are in the same classroom, they are people living in two different worlds. Marin's world is full of reality, but Wakana has secrets that doesn't allow him to make friends normally. It is Wakana's group's turn to be on duty. The other two male classmates don't want to work and give the task to Wakana. Wakana is used to such things, and he doesn't complain, although it is tiring to clean alone. The only thing he doesn't expect is that Marin doesn't escape duty like everyone else. Marin sees it as her responsibility, accusing Wakana of taking it all alone. She reminds Wakana that his thoughts have to be spoken out. This sentence makes Wakana contemplate. As Marin says, Wakana has been suppressing his inner thoughts. He always remembers Marin's words and can't even concentrate on making the dolls. The sewing machine at home malfunctions, forcing Wakana to rest. There are also sewing machines in school's craft club. Wakana brings the dolls to the school. He is immersed in the joy brought by the doll, and does not expect that Marin would also appear here. Unexpectedly, Marin discovers Wakana's secret, but instead of despising him, she praises his sewing skills. Wakana explains that his dream is to become a craftsman of dolls, but he currently only makes clothes for dolls. When Marin learns this, she hurriedly takes off her clothes. She loves cosplay and comes to the craft club every day to make cosplay costumes. Because she's not very good at making clothes, she hopes Wakana will help her. Wakana is so impressed by Marin's sincerity that he vows to do everything he could to make clothes for her. To help Wakana understand role-playing, Marin introduces him to her favorite game characters. This is a field that Wakana has never reached before, and looking at the smile on Marin's face, he clearly feels her love for the role. Because the first task in making the costume is to measure the size of various parts of the body. Marin arrives at Wakana's house early the next morning. Although she specially puts on a swimsuit, Wakana is too shy to face her. Marin, on the other hand, thinks it is normal and acts very naturally. Wakana has no choice but to force himself to sober up and focus on the measurements. What bothers Wakana the most is the bust measurement. In front of the sexy Marin, Wakana can't concentrate at all, but Marin is very concerned about how her figure looks like and wants him to help measure the BP point. Because the location of the BP point is too private, Wakana can't help her. Marin does the measurement alone, but when she says the specific data, Wakana suffers a huge shock. Wakana thinks he's too vulnerable and hopes he can be as frank as Marin, but what he doesn't know is that Marin also feels a little shy at this time. After the measurements, Marin gives Wakana the game cartridge to help him understand the character. This is an adults-only gal game. When grandfather discovers that Wakana is playing games, he thinks Wakana has entered puberty and becomes curious about the girls. Wakana is overly involved in the game and plays role-playing with Marin in his dreams. Then he wakes up and doesn't know how to face Marin. Marin doesn't know what Wakana is thinking. She has a straightforward personality and does not care about showing closeness to Wakana in front of her classmates. But Marin is popular with her classmates, and Wakana doesn't want her to be gossiped by her classmates because of him. To avoid this, Wakana spends the day hiding from Marin. Marin notices something unusual about Wakana, but she has already considered him as a friend and doesn't care about what others think. Taking advantage of the end of school, Marin takes Wakana to the cosplay counter to shop for clothing materials. After a night of research, Wakana gets to know the characters well. Under his guidance, Marin buys a lot of accessories that fit the character. Marin wants to show appreciation and deliberately shows him sexy suspenders and stockings. Wakana is shy and hurriedly stops Marin's behavior. On the way home, Marin tells Wakana something about her favorite cosplayer, Sejuna, but for some reason, Wakana acts very calmly, which makes Marin feel strange. Wakana tells Marin that the placement of dolls is the biggest feature of Hinamatsuri. As the only child in the family, he rarely had the opportunity to see dolls. When he first saw the dolls at his grandfather's house, he was attracted to the exquisite dolls. Wakana feels that only dolls deserve to be called beautiful. He doesn't judge others by how they look if he doesn't truly feel like to. Before parting, Marin solemnly expresses her gratitude to Wakana. She doesn't expect Wakana to get to know the character so seriously and develops a lot of affection for him. Wakana asks Marin when the cosplay event is on. When he learns that there will be an event in 2 weeks, Wakana is shocked. This is Wakana's first time making a costume, and he is worried that he wouldn't be able to finish it in time. Grandfather expresses concerns for Wakana, who goes out shopping. He is glad Wakana has made new friends and wants to know what he has bought. When he finds out that Wakana has bought stockings, grandfather falls in shock. Wakana rushes his grandfather to the hospital. Although the injury is not severe, the grandfather still needs to rest for 2 weeks. The grandfather moves to the house of Wakana's uncles temporarily because his place is closer to the hospital. Wakana tells Marin about it. They swap phone numbers for contacting to each other. For the rest of the day, Wakana has to visit his grandfather and look after the doll shop in addition to preparing for his midterm exams. He doesn't want to disappoint Marin, so he can only desperately compress his sleep time. After the exam, the exhausted Wakana falls into self-doubt. In order to make Marin's clothes, he has not practiced drawing for many days. Grandfather once told him that if he doesn't use a pen for a day, he would feel rusty. Wakana thinks his drawing skills are already so poor that he may not be able to continue his career as a craftsman of dolls. But when Wakana recalls Marin's smiling face, he thinks it is all worth it. Wakana perks up, and he stays up all night to finish the costume for Marin. Marin doesn't expect Wakana to work so hard to make clothes for her. She isn't sure when Wakana would be finished and wants to wait until he is done before considering which event to go to. Seeing Wakana, who is tired, Marin cries out with guilt. Wakana doesn't know how to comfort Marin and can only offer to let her try on clothes. Because of his affection to the dolls, Wakana also has a certain level of understanding of makeup. With the development of the times, the Hinamatsuri dolls have also changed a lot compared to before. Every good craftsman of dolls has their own unique style, and Wakana's dream is to become that kind of craftsman of dolls. Marin recognizes Wakana's abilities and is confident that he would achieve his dreams. With the help of Wakana, Marin dresses herself in a cosplay costume. Facing Marin, who exactly looks the same as the game character, Wakana praises her from the bottom of his heart. Marin likes Wakana's clothes so much that she asks him to help take pictures of her. Marin imitates the demeanor of the game character, which makes Wakana, who takes the photo, can't help but be a little shy. Marin uploads photos taken by Wakana and invites him to the show. Wakana, who is attending the event for the first time, is uncomfortable and feels that he should not be here. But after seeing Marin smile, Wakana gradually relaxes. He finds that every cosplayer loves the character from the bottom of their hearts and enjoy the role playing. Wakana has never had the opportunity to be close to his friends before, and Marin's presence gives him a lot of happiness that he hasn't had before. Wakana feels wonderful the moment he sees Marin running towards him. In the heat, Marin is crushed by heavy clothing, and she has 2 extra layers of chest pads, which makes it very difficult for her to breathe now. Wakana worries that Marin might get sick, hurriedly takes her to rest. Marin is so hot that she begs Wakana to help her wipe her sweat. Wakana wipes the sweat for Marin while enduring the torment of this sweetness. Because Marin leaves in the middle of filming. After a short break, she returns to the event. During filming, a sudden wind blows up the hem of Marin's skirt. To Wakana's surprise, Marin doesn't care about the upskirt. She just feels that she doesn't look at the camera and asks the photographer to reshoot. The day's experience is very new and interesting for both Wakana and Marin. Although the event is over, their cooperation has just begun. Marin still has a lot of roles she wants to cosplay, and Wakana continues to make clothes for her. Wakana recalls the image of Marin in a costume and praises how beautiful she is from the bottom of his heart. Marin knows that Wakana will not say the word beautiful casually, and she seems to feel the chemistry when she hears his compliments. After returning home, Wakana and Marin wash the wigs and costumes together. At this time, the grandfather, who has recovered from his foot injury, bumps into the scene where they are together. Grandfather learns that Wakana is making cosplay costumes for Marin, and finally dispels the misunderstanding of him. Marin looks at Wakana's back and finally confirms that she likes Wakana. The enthusiastic grandfather offers to invite Marin to stay for dinner. At the dinner table, Marin praises Wakana's cooking. Marin's mother fell ill and died very early. Her father is transferred to work in the field. She usually deals with the meal at convenience stores, and she has not eaten home-cooked food for a long time. Grandfather is very distressed about Marin's experience and welcomes her to the house for dinner at any time. After Marin leaves, Wakana welcomes a special visitor, Sejuna. Grandfather mistakes her Wakana's friend and invites her into the house, but Wakana has no other friends at all, and he thinks there is a thief in the house and rushes to make sure. The moment Wakana opens the door, he accidentally sees Sejuna without clothes on. Wakana treats Sejuna as a guest at the doll shop and shows her around the room where the dolls are placed. Sejuna says that her intention is to ask Wakana to make a costume, and uses the accident just now to force him to agree. Wakana realizes Sejuna is Marin's favorite cosplayer since she has revealed her name. Sejuna, who sees a photo of Marin online, is drawn to her dress and comes to the event. After discovering that Wakana is the maker of the costume, Sejuna follows him here. Marin does not expect to see her idol in Wakana's house, and expresses her admiration excitedly. Sejuna is taken aback by Marin and hurriedly explains her intentions. She just happens to see a picture of Marin, and what really attracts her is the costume made by Wakana. The character Sejuna wants to cosplay is a magic girl, because the character has a very special style. She wants Wakana to make a dress that is the right size for her. Sejuna misunderstands that Marin is in a relationship with Wakana, claiming that she will only talk to Wakana about clothing. Wakana can't imagine him and Marin falling in love, and is so nervous that he says he has never had a girlfriend. Marin wants to work with Sejuna on cosplay and is willing to cover the cost of the studio. To save money, Sejuna agrees to work with Marin. Wakana seriously explains the role-playing thing to his grandfather, and hands over the results of his doll practice to his grandfather. The grandfather believes that it takes more to make good dolls than just by looking at the dolls. During his time helping Marin, Wakana also grows. Applying makeup to a person is the same as applying makeup to the dolls, and he needs to focus. With the purpose of getting to know the characters, Wakana comes to Marin's house to watch anime. It is his first visit to a friend's home. Especially it is Marin's place. Wakana is very nervous, but suddenly feels a lot more relaxed after seeing the peripheral products of different characters in Marin's room. Marin enjoys spending time alone with Wakana. Her face is full of excitement, and she offers to cook for Wakana, although Marin is not satisfied with her cooking. Wakana eats the food happily. After learning about the character, Wakana asks Sejuna for a lot of makeup tips. He looks at Sejuna's past photos and admires the skilled photographer, because the photo is taken by Sejuna's sister, Shinju. Wakana wants to ask Shinju to teach him how to shoot good photos. They come to the meeting place together because Marin also wants to learn shooting skills. What surprises them is that although Shinju is a junior school student, her height has already reached 5 feet 10 inches. Shinju teaches them about her shooting experience. She loves taking pictures of her older sister, but for some reason, she has never tried cosplay. In order to confirm the shooting effect, they come to the studio in advance. Because the studio is modeled after an old abandoned building, Sejuna is too scared to enter, but she has been very obsessed with magic girls since she was a child. And even if this dream can never be realized, she will become a magic girl through cosplay. So no matter how scared she is, she will grit her teeth and persevere. Wakana doesn't expect Sejuna to give so much importance to this shoot, and wonders why she asks him to make costumes. Sejuna tells Wakana that she feels a strong sense of jealousy when she sees Marin's photo. From that moment on, she falls madly in love with the clothes made by Wakana. With Sejuna's telling, Wakana gets a great sense of accomplishment. It feels like the feeling grandfather feels when he knows he likes dolls. Grandfather says that his greatest wish is to make people fall in love with the dolls he makes at first sight. Now Wakana finally understands how his grandfather felt at that time, which moves him to tears and vows to make something that satisfies Sejuna. Sejuna is shaken by a boy for the first time, and she faints directly after being shocked. After the final exams, Marin takes Wakana to the beach. The gentle sea breeze relaxes Marin a lot, and she excitedly invites Wakana to go to the sea together. Wakana accidentally sees Marin's underwear, and he sits there dumbfounded, only to come to his senses after a long while. Guided by Marin, Wakana plucks up the courage to walk into the sea. He has been immersed in the world of dolls since he was a child, and has never cared about the things around him. This is his first time to the beach, and he is grateful to Wakana for giving him the opportunity to see the sea. Marin is impressed by Wakana's sincerity and makes appointment with him to go out together during the summer vacation. Looking at the smile on Wakana's face, Marin runs away shyly. Using the photography techniques taught by Shinju, Marin takes pictures of Wakana. On this wonderful summer by the sea, they share the most precious memories. A few days later, Wakana finishes this cosplay suit. Sejuna is experienced and has helped Marin a lot with makeup. On top of that, Shinju also makes a brave attempt. She likes cosplay, but she is afraid that she will not do well and be hated by her sister, so she has not tried it yet. Shinju chooses a male character because she is very plump. Wakana uses a corset and shoulder pads to help her hide her figure. With Wakana's help, Shinju's cosplay receives very high reviews. As a photographer, Shinju takes a lot of beautiful photos. When Sejuna looks at the photos, she is surprised to find that she likes not only the photos of Wakana, but also the photos of Marin. If there is another chance, she is not averse to continue cooperating with them. In the following story, Marin chooses a very sexy character. Because the character's costumes are so revealing, Wakana thinks he'll be able to finish it soon. In order to play the role, Marin specially applies a tanning foundation. She comes to Wakana's house in the heat and has to borrow Wakana's bathroom to take a shower. Wakana blushes a little when he sees Marin changes into his clothes. Marin brings a lot of props, but because she accidentally hits her head, she has to do the cosplay next time. Marin keeps her promise to take Wakana out whenever she has time. Marin picks out a lot of clothes for Wakana and secretly buys a t-shirt that identifies with Wakana's. They have a great time, but when Marin asks when the cosplay will take place, Wakana tells her that he can't accompany her this time because the costume is too revealing. Wakana doesn't have the courage to watch Marin shoot. Marin thoughtfully says that she will complete the shoot at her own home, and deliberately offers to send him the photos. Seeing Wakana's shy look, Marin smiles contentedly. After that, they go to the manga cafe together. In the cramped environment of the booth, Wakana and Marin have a lot of physical contacts. Marin recommends a character of a comic book that she loves, but she thinks the character is too cute for her. Wakana feels that Marin is a perfect fit for the role if she just changes her hairstyle, and Marin is impressed by Wakana and decides to bravely give it a try. Under Marin's influence, Wakana grows to like this manga. A few days later, Marin sets up the shooting location in a love hotel. Considering the peculiarities of the love hotel, Wakana acts very nervously. It isn't until Marin puts on the costume that Wakana's attention is diverted. Because the manga's style is so simple, Wakana has to design her own costumes. Marin loves Wakana's clothes, and from her perspective, she considers freedom of creation as a joy in cosplay. Wakana prepares a lot of props to help Marin better integrate into the character. To achieve the effect of the backshot, Wakana lets Marin sit on top of him, just as they are excited about the shooting effect, and seductive sound suddenly comes from the next door. Wakana then finds himself just taking pictures and is unaware of their posture. Fearing that he would be embarrassed in front of Marin, he urges her to leave as soon as possible. Just then, the hotel calls to ask if they are renewing the room. Wakana relives and hurriedly leaves with Marin. When he gets home, Wakana also keeps thinking about Marin and doesn't know what to do with her. Towards the end of her summer vacation, Marin is caught up in the hustle and bustle, working part-time and doing homework every day. Wakana doesn't know what Marin is doing for part-time job until he sees the magazine photos she takes. The DSLR camera that Marin wants to buy is very expensive, so she takes on a lot of shooting tasks. Having a rare chance to meet Wakana, Marin offers to invite him to watch a horror movie together. Wakana loves the special effects and makeup of the film and watches it many times. Marin is so frightened by the movie that she doesn't dare to watch more. Wakana comes back with Marin to pick up her homework since she has left her math homework at school. While passing by the pool, Marin accidentally falls into the water. Wakana doesn't expect Marin to not know how to swim and is taken aback by her. Marin tells Wakana that she enjoys sitting on the beach and watching the sea, even if she can't swim. Wakana relates with Marin. Just like he likes dolls very much, even he has never been able to draw well the faces of dolls. After Marin finishes her summer homework, they come to the temple fair to watch the fireworks. Wakana sees Marin wearing a yukata for the first time, and can't help but feel a little moved. This summer, Wakana has a lot of experiences he has never had before. What he experiences with Marin is worth remembering for the rest of his life. Looking at Marin beside him, Wakana has a lot of complicated feelings in his mind. After the fireworks display, Wakana carries Marin on his back and goes back. Marin is not used to clogged shoes and accidentally wears her feet out. She feels sorry and vows to be more careful next year. Marin lies on Wakana's shoulder and promises to watch fireworks displays all over Japan with him next year. At the end of the story, Marin accidentally clicks on a horror movie. Too scared to sleep, she calls Wakana. When Wakana is about to fall asleep, Marin reveals her heartfelt voice and says "I like you" to him. The whole story ends here. My Dress Up Darling fully considers the specific process and details of cosplay and costume production, and the logic and development of the story are all based on these settings, making the plot more natural and smooth. There are both sweet love plots and inspirational plots of pursuing the dreams. Many viewers think that Marin is not real enough, but confident and brave girls abound in the anime world. Overall, it's a commercially successful school romance comedy. It is said that the production of the sequel animation is also actively being prepared, and I believe that it will soon come out. If you like this anime, don't forget to like this video. The better the clout gets, the more motivated I will be to consider doing the recap of the relevant content as soon as the second season is broadcast. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Bye!